part for machine pictured below is formed from a sheet of metal of 1 meter squared. How many complete parts can be made from this sheet, with pi being equal to 3.14, and assume no wastage? So here's our shape. How can we break this down into shapes we know and find all the measurements? And the hint is going to be the radius. So if we notice, we have a semicircle on the top, and if I draw in a line across here, like so, then what I've done is I've split our shape up into a semicircle on top and a trapezium on the bottom. So what we need to do is find the area of this semicircle and the area of this trapezium and add them together. And then we're going to divide that into 1 meter squared to see how many times we can, how many complete parts we can get. So we need to figure out what the measurements are, or what the dimensions are. So this is going to be the radius of our semicircle. So if from here to here is 5 millimeters, then this entire red line is going to be 10 millimeters. So from here to here will be 10 millimeters, because 5 times 2 is 10. And if we stick two radiuses together, or two radii, we get the diameter. So the radius multiplied by 2 will always give us the diameter. So 5 multiplied by 2 gives us 10. So the diameter is 10. So we need to find the distance from this point here to this point here, because that is the top of our trapezium. Now if this distance here is 1 millimeters, then this distance here is also going to be 1 millimeter. So 10 minus 1 will leave us with 8. So 10 minus 1 leaves us with 8. So the distance from here to here is 8 millimeters. So now we have the base of our trapezium and we have the top of our trapezium, but now we need the perpendicular height. Well, from here to here is going to be 8 millimeters. So from here to here will be 8 millimeters. And if the radius is 5, then from here to here will also be 5. So if from here to here is 8, and from here to here is 5, then 8 minus 5 is going to be 3. So the perpendicular height of our trapezium is going to be 3 millimeters. So now we have everything we need for the area of a circle and the area of a trapezium. Okay, so I've labelled all my measurements here, and the perpendicular height of the trapezium is 3. So step 1, we're going to find the area of the trapezium. So we have 8 and 4 for the parallel sides and 3 for the perpendicular height. So the area of the trapezium is going to be A plus B, A and B being the parallel sides, times the height divided by 2, or else multiplied by a half, which is the same thing. So 8 plus 4, A plus B, 8 plus 4 is going to be 12, and 12 times the height, which is 3, is going to be 36, and half of 36 is going to be 18 millimeters squared. Now in the formula book we have a different formula to this, but it means the same thing. So the formula in the formula book is A plus B divided by 2 times H. So again, the A and the B is 8 and 4. So it's going to be 8 plus 4 divided by 2, multiplied by 3, which is the height. So the H is 3. So 8 plus 4 is 12, and half of 12 is 6, and 6 times 3 is 18. So we still get 18 millimeters squared, no matter which formula we use. Step 2 is the semicircle. So there's two ways of doing this. We can get the area of the semicircle by putting in the degrees. So the area of a full circle is pi r squared. That's the formula for the area of a full circle. And a semicircle has an angle in here of 180 degrees. So we can say pi r squared times 180 degrees over 360. So it'd be 3.14 times 5 squared times 180 over 360. And that'll give us 39.25 millimeters squared. Or what we can do is get the area of what would be the full circle, so pi r squared, so 3.14 times 5 squared, and then just divide our answer by 2, because a semicircle is half a circle. So we'll still get 39.25 millimeters squared. Step 3 is we add up the parts. So 18 millimeters squared plus 39.25 millimeters squared will give us 57.25 millimeters squared. So 57.25 millimeters squared is the area of one of these pieces. So step 4 is going to be to change the units. So one sheet of metal is 1 meter squared. So we need to convert this into millimeters squared because our area of our shape is in millimeters squared. So 1 meter squared is really 1 meter times 1 meter. And 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So 1 meter times 1 meter is the same thing as 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters. And there are 1,000 millimeters in 100 centimeters. So this is the same thing as 1,000 millimeters times 1,000 millimeters, which gives us 1,000,000 millimeters squared. So we have 1,000,000 millimeters squared divided by 57.25 millimeters squared. And that gives us 17,467.24891. So remember, we're interested in how many complete parts can be made. So we're just going to knock off any decimals that are at the end and just take the whole number. So 17,467 complete parts can be made from this sheet.